Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another DGSR race in Assetto Corsa Competizione. My name is Thomas, and I'm joined today by Christian in the commentator's box as a dual commentator, dual commented race. And tonight we are on the Barcelona track. As you can see, it is quite chilly. It's 15 degrees, and there is a possibility of some rain during this race, as far as I understand. And the lads are just finishing up the last laps of practice before we move on to the qualifying. And this night is another special night because we have combined both the server A and server B, so we have 4 driver classes competing all on one server. So it should get crowded and it should get busy, hopefully producing some good racing. And hello, Christian. How are you tonight?
Hello, good evening. Very well indeed. Really excited for this race tonight. It's going to be I believe, one of the few night races
And
that we have this season. So it's going to definitely make some interesting racing, and it'll be good to have the 4 classes together. More people on the track will mean more battles, and there's definitely going to be some pros coming through the field as well, which is really exciting. That's always exciting stuff.
Yeah, we might see some blue flags slapping and so on. So it should be an interesting one. I'm quite excited for it, to be honest. But yeah, let's just wait for the practice to run out of time. It should be just a couple of minutes. I don't think it will be the full 4 minutes left, and we should run over at 9:30 UK time, I believe. And let me just start my screen share on Discord so you can see what I'm actually talking about. But
Excellent.
I need to figure out how to do that because I'm a professional streamer.
So the way I believe today is going to be run is there's going to be a 30-minute qualifying session. There's going to be 15 minutes first, and it's going to be the what would be server B, so the AM class, the bronze, and the silver. And for the first 15 minutes, after 15 minutes, they will all have their laps to finish, and the A server will be let loose for their 15 minutes of fame.
Yes, I believe that is correct. That is how it will be played out. Why is my... Oh, it's working. Sorry, just some technical difficulties. Just remembering how to do things after a long vacation. I almost forgot how to actually use the race control software. But
it has been a while for you since you've done this last time. Is it 2 weeks' time?
Yeah,
Have you been on holiday?
Yeah, 2 weeks. You did an excellent job the previous week filling in or stepping in instead of me. Almost did a better job than me, I guess, right? So.
I definitely wouldn't say that. I definitely would not say that.
I would even admit the almost, but definitely did a better job than I did. I did try to watch it live, but unfortunately, Beer and Seaside has gotten the better of me, and I've fallen asleep. But I did watch it the next night. I mean, the next day.
Yeah. I have to say, I don't blame you at all. The Seaside and Beer would definitely affect me equally. So,
yeah. Well, I think this should be jumping over.
Yeah,
there we go.
There we go. It's just jumped over to qualifying.
Yes, let's see who will be the first out of the pits. We have a couple of bronze and AM rated drivers here tonight. Actually, quite a lot more than just a couple. And here we go. And I believe Rob Larby is the first one out on the track. Actually, the second one, because the first one is Berzek. I believe that would be the first car on the track right now. And yeah, the conditions are a little bit more darker this time. And like always, I don't know why this happens in my game, but somehow I have to go in the game and change things so I get the overlay back as normal.
I've noticed that last time as well, where the overlay occasionally would just disappear from the game, and I just was very confused. And yeah.
You have to go into the game. You have to press escape and hit drive again, and then you're back on the normal normal thing. And I think it will happen again during the flip over to the race session. I believe you have car 47 causing a yellow flag. Maybe just a reset the pits to load up the correct setup. Maybe running in the wrong setup. I don't know.
Or maybe he just realized that he's taken 45 liters of fuel or a full tank. That's that's my classic, where I just take over from practice, and it just happens occasionally.
Yeah. But that's the best way to qualify, right? Full tank.
Absolutely, yeah. You're really putting yourself in an optimal position to make some moves later on, because it's that little bit of extra practice with full fuel. Those 15 minutes will make all the difference.
Definitely. And we are starting with first flying laps, and this is Chenda Berzek in the McLaren, starting his flying lap for the first time. It's quite dark out there. It would be quite hard to see, I guess, again, what's going on. But Hitman just loves those dark races.
He does. It's quite a surprise that we haven't had torrential rain in the last 2 races just yet. But that can still happen.
There's still time.
Yep.
There's still time.
Like you're saying, there is still time.
I'm pretty sure we will have a flooded conditions race sooner or later.
Definitely. There definitely will be something like that. I remember the last time that we did it at Laguna Seca, the dry lagoon, which got suspiciously much rain that one night.
Oh, that race was amazing. That was amazing. I remember that one. It was Laguna Seca in flooded conditions. Never did that before. It was just insane. Drive there with a full track of standing water. You almost needed paddles in the car instead of the steering wheel.
Absolutely, I hated it. I have to say, I absolutely fucking hated it.
All right, as people are finishing their laps, maybe let's pull someone into the commentators box. Who better to pull in than our Gabe, who is also watching on the stream. Let me just figure this quickly out how to do this again. Actually, I need just to find him. There we go. And I'm pulling him into the commentators box now.
Hello there, Gabe.
Hey Gabe, how's it going? Hushed surprise.
Wow.
Yeah, he has no words. Oh, he's smoking. Oh, all right, Gabe. Back out you go. Who else is not on track? Or maybe we should pull someone in who is on track, right? It should be...
Maybe we could put in Jacob Hale. He did say that he was volunteering as a tribute. So
no, let's not be that mean. How about we invite Mr. Sideways, Mr. Stevens,
let's do that. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Stevens. How is your practice for going sideways around Barcelona going so far?
Is he smoking again as well?
I don't know. Maybe he's not in the cupboard.
Maybe these drivers, instead of...
Are you talking to me?
Yes,
we are.
Sorry. I'd literally taken my headphones off for a second to scratch my ear.
Well, that's not allowed.
I forgot I pushed the talk activated, just like a professional.
Yeah. That's the DGSR way, so it's all good.
What was the question?
How's your night going? How's your preparation for drifting around Barcelona going so far? Is the wheel warmed up?
I jumped in the cupboard 10 minutes ago. So yes. I did a few laps earlier in the week to remember which corner goes right and which corner goes left, and that was about it.
T1 is left, right?
That's the one. Yep.
Yeah, remember that. Make sure that you stay on the right side for T1.
Don't forget, when drifting, you turn left to go right.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Those are the most important lessons we have learned. But yeah, anyway,
Especially from you.
how are you feeling tonight? Any predictions for the race? Are you going for the overall win?
Oh, God, no. No. So long as I keep it clean like I have done so far, I'll be happy with that.
Oh, come on. You can be more optimistic than that, I think. I'm sure you have a couple of tricks up your sleeve.
No, I just want to survive. That's it. The whole goal with this whole season was just survive. I've died or been killed either by my own hand or other people's in previous seasons, and more often than not my own. And so I just want to survive this season and have good, clean races, which, fingers crossed, I will, but I've jinxed it now, so.
We'll keep on a lookout for you then to see how.
Yeah,
how
we'll definitely keep a lookout and make sure to apply some of the commentator's curse into your driving.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We aren't watching T1. We'll be showing the spectators for T1.
I was going to say you gotta have crowd shots.
Yeah, definitely need those tonight. It's nice and dark, and they're very visible. So
garage crew reactions and everything to T1, not actual T1.
Exactly. That, like we learned from the pros in F1, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna push you back up. Good luck with the quality.
Cool.
Good luck with the race.
And good luck with the commentating.
Thank you. Take care.
Have a good race.
All right, that was Mr. Stevens. I believe he is in the Platina class, driving the famous Porky.
I agree. I think he is indeed.
Yes.
One of his favorite drift cars.
Yes, exactly. I do know that he likes them pointy porks, and that he likes to get them sideways through the corners. And he
you as the president and CEO of the Porsche Cup fan club, definitely do love a bit of a Porsche. So, yeah. I mean, I have to say the new the 992 Porsche Cup is what a machine, an absolute gem of a machine in this game.
It's an absolute beast. I personally love it the most. It's my favorite car in ACC right now. It's just from the sounds perspective. I believe it just sounds amazing. It drives amazing as well, because you have to be patient with it. You have to treat it right. But when you get it right, it's just so rewarding that it's just an amazing feeling.
Absolutely. What a great car. The devs at Kunos have definitely done a great job with it. Absolutely great.
Definitely.
Right, let's have a quick look at the current standings in qualifying. We've got in the silver class in P1, Martin Hallidan. In second place, Edward Wilkins. And in third place, Dagan Errol, all with 145s, which is actually surprisingly fast.
Given that
I was expecting,
right?
Given that they're silver, yeah, I was expecting the silvers to be in the 146s, that's for sure. And in the bronze, in P1 for now, don't speak English, with a very respectable 47.5, followed by Mark Schwartz, I think is his name. Let me just get my overlay to work better.
Yes, indeed, it is Mark Schwartz.
And then in P3, Sam Rock with the 48s. For the race today, I think we're expecting 44s as the fastest race times for the platina and gold classes, and 46s for the silvers and 48s for the bronzes.
Yes, that is correct. I don't know what is happening, but I seem to have lost the OBS. This is not going great tonight. I'm really sorry about this. It should be back. Oh, we have two cars trying to go out on the track from the pits. I'm hoping it's working again. It does seem so.
I'll have a quick check for you.
Yeah, I'm just checking YouTube. It does seem to be working again. Yeah, really sorry about this. I don't know what was going on there, but yeah, we are back in business. And we have a change in the silver pole. It was Charlie McCabe, who just did a 45.4 as his best lap time, and he nicked the silver pole position by almost 0.08 of a second, and has just pulled off on the side of the track and reset the pits. So I have to get another car to cast the commentator's curse on it, and I have chosen Mr. Dagan Arrow, who is currently in P4, but improving by around 0.3 of a second, which would, well, it would push him up into P2, if not even P1, if he manages to keep the space in his current lap. He does have a slower car in front of him, who is 159. This is Julian Collins in front of him. Hope it doesn't impede his time too much, and I believe it did. He just lost all of his gain time, unfortunately, having to navigate around the slower moving Aston in front. It's a shame.
Yeah, even though it was in the tightest corner on the track, it's just the sort of lack of exit that he got out of there is just completely hampered him and just lost him those couple of tenths.
Yes, that's a shame. But he does get another attempt, as we have 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining for bronze and silver qualifying.
I've just noticed as well, we do have a change in the lead in the provisional poll for the bronze category as well, with Sam Rock moving into overall 9th with a 47.3.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. It's close all around in all classes, I must say. All drivers are pretty much close together. We have 7 people within a second currently. And McCabe has just extended his lead a little bit. Oh, actually, have we lost? We lost a driver. I believe we lost someone.
I'm a little confused here because I don't really remember Dave White being quite that high up either.
No, Dave White has improved his time, but we lost someone from who was P1 before. I already forgot.
It was Charlie McCabe in P1 the last we checked. However, we did have somebody. Oh, it was Martin Halliday.
Halliday, yeah, he's dropping and rejoining again. I hope it's not some connection issue.
That would not be very nice. That's one of those things that really ruins your night.
I
think I can see him back on the overall standings now. And yep, I see his car in the pits as well, so he's back in the race.
And I believe Dagan Arrow is shooting for P1. He is currently up by almost half a second, and has just turned the final corner, and he lands in P2. Missed it by 100th of a second. That's
absolutely incredible.
Tight racing.
I'm also looking at Rich Atkinson, who's currently on a flyer as well, almost 9 tenths up on his best lap time. He is a second down from the leaders.
And not only 3 tenths down from the leaders.
3 tenths down on the leaders now.
Yes, and also a very good lap. Yes, he is 0.295 seconds off P1, and currently sitting in P6. Reset the pits, and there we go. Pros are already coming out on the track. Let's see who will go out first.
So all the bronze drivers now will finish their laps, stop after the start-finish line. They're entitled to finish their laps, obviously,
yes,
but they do have to stop after the start-finish line and reset back to pits.
Correct. That is absolutely correct. Do we have any large changes coming up? Yes, I believe Rob Larby is also 3 tenths up currently, turning the final corner, and it could put him into P1.
And he does make it into P1.
He is P1.
However, we do also have Eddie Wilkins currently almost 4 tenths up on his best lap time.
I think we just cast some curse on him. Yep.
I think we did.
Going into pits. But Dagon Errol is also again on another flyer, turning the final corner. It could also
He
swing
is.
him up to P1.
Oh, just P2, and
P2.
he's
Matched
got exactly the same
exactly the
lap
same
time.
times. Let me just pull up the timesheet here. Yes, as you can see, there is nothing between P1 and P2. So we have two Porsches in the silver lead, in the silver pole, which is Rob Larby and Dagon Errol, followed by Charlie McCabe in the Beamer, only 1/10 behind them. So, like I said, it's going to be a very close race.
We have the top 8 within a second of each other, and the
Yes.
top 7 within almost within half a second of each other. So this is some very impressive driving coming from the silver category, and even the bronze category is going to be very tight today.
Definitely. In the bronze category, we have Don Speak English in P1 and Samuel Rock in P2. There's half a second between them, and they are followed by Darren Hyde, who is another half a second behind Rock. It will be a close race, and the pros have started their flying laps. Although, what I wanted to say, do you remember the last race that we did here?
I do not. I don't think I was part of the last race.
I think it was in season 4. We didn't even make it to T1. We already crashed and burned on the home straight. Coming to the green lights, it was glorious. It was just glorious.
I have to say, this is one of those racetracks where the front straight is quite long, so you do get up quite a lot of speed. And with Colt tires and brakes, braking for T1, it can be a bit of a challenge as well.
Yes, it can be
a
tricky.
lot of jostling for positions from good starts and poor starts as well.
And you are also giving a nice slipstream to the guy behind you, so you are very much at a position where you can be attacked into T1. So you have to be really careful, even if you are in P1, that you are not making any sudden moves or unexpected changes of directions or anything like that, because it can end in disaster. And I'm really hopeful it doesn't happen this time. And
hopefully, from the B server for last time, the race was very clean on lap 1, but I've heard that the A server had a bit of a mishap happening on lap 1. So hopefully they don't carry it through to today. But they did all have a talking to as well from the race directors.
Yes, that is correct. And while we are watching the pros do their first laps, let's pull in our P1 from the silvers, Rob Larby and Dagon Errol, who did an identical time. I will maybe figure out how to do those both at the same time.
Hello there, Mr. Larby. How are you doing today?
Hello, Mr. Larby. Hello, Mr. Errol. You are in the commentator's box, so you can freely talk. You don't need to keep quiet. Actually, you are encouraged to talk.
Yes, please. It would be a little awkward for us if you didn't talk at all. So we just wanted to see how you guys are feeling after getting basically a joint P1 almost, what would be.
No one wants to talk to us tonight.
I think Mr. Errol is here. It's just that.
Yeah. And Rob, just so you know, you're muted. If you're trying to talk, we cannot hear you. I can see in Discord that you have mute turned on. And Dagan, I can see your icon flashing up, but we cannot get any voice through from you.
I think it might be that they have both stepped away from computers.
Could be.
Go for a quick pre-race beer break.
Yeah, I will move both of them back to server A. There we go. How about we invite Mr. Don to the commentator's box, who is in P1 for the bronzes.
Let's do that. Maybe he will speak to us.
Hello, Don. You are blessed with the commentators. Can you hear us? Can we hear you?
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right,
And
awesome.
we can hear you.
Awesome. Congratulations on the P1 in the bronze class. How are you
Thank
feeling?
you very much. Tired.
Tired. It was already a glimpse of a fight between you and Samuel Rock in the qualifying. You did exchange P1 a couple of times. Can we expect
Yeah.
another close race from you guys?
We had a close race a couple of races ago, so yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I spent half the Zandvoort race, half a second behind him.
yeah, that's what we're hoping for this time again. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it would be better for you if you would be half a second in front of him, right?
Yes, because I spent the entire last race behind Keys, so I think the last 90 minutes of racing I've had somebody less than 2 seconds in front of me the entire time. So I never got past.
Yeah, I wish you all the best in this race. And do you have any strategy for tonight that you want to take care of?
No, just want to do no spins. If I can keep on track the whole race, I'll be happy.
No spins and a quick pit stop, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That sounds like a very good strategy for any racer here today.
Which just reminds me, I haven't practiced pit entry here. Flip.
Yeah, the pit line is very late in here, so you can build up quite
Yeah.
a lot of speed, and you need to slow down before the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can catch you off guard, especially if someone takes out the pit board, which also does happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure it's up early. There's no way I want to drive through.
Well, I hope that you don't get a drive-through, and then you have
Thank you very
a
much.
wonderful race. And best of luck to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Moving
Enjoy
you back up.
yourself.
Thanks.
I have just had a message from Dagan Errol saying that he can't, that he did hear us. He apologizes to everyone, but he couldn't speak to us just because he's got a little baby sleeping next to him.
Oh,
So
right,
just
right.
wants to make sure that he doesn't wake her up or
Oh, yeah.
him.
Yeah, that's. I remember that he said that a couple of days ago that he is. His game rig is quite close to the baby room, and that there's also always a possibility for him to wake up the baby. So yeah, no worries, they can nothing to be concerned about. Let's take a look at the lap times for our current Platina and Pro drivers. So currently in P1 we have Rich Gasson in the Porsche doing a 44.1, and followed by David Lewis in the BMW. It's close behind of 7/700ths of a second, and followed by Ryan Harper in the McLaren, who is currently 2/10ths down, but we still have a good 6 minutes of quali, and we just had a change in P1. This was Mr. Cotton in another BMW who did a 44.0 and snatched the pole by 5/100ths of a second. And for pros, I actually have to look at the sign-up board because I do not know exactly who is in the pros and is in first.
That is one of those things that is really confusing me as well.
Yes, I believe it is Thomas Pichon in the Mercedes AMG, and he did a 44.9. So all of them are pretty much below 45s. Yes, and we have 13-14 racers within a second in the Pro and Platinum classes. So
that's fantastic. That's going to make for some great racing later in the day.
Definitely. And we are just emerging from the pits again for the final flying laps.
Yeah, they've got 5 minutes left. Probably enough time to do an outlap and 2 flying laps.
Yeah.
Try to put themselves in P1.
One to mess up and one to nail just right.
Absolutely. They are knocking on the 1 minute 43 lap time as well. That would be something I'm expecting. Well, not that I'm expecting somebody, but I can see one of our drivers today getting into the 143s and getting P1 that way.
It could definitely be a possibility. I'm currently a little bit surprised by Gabriel being down in P12 and almost a full second of P1 currently. I'm willing to bet that he has some trick up his sleeve and he's waiting for final moments. And again, we had a change in P1. Ryan Harper just set 44 flat, exactly flat time, so almost 43s, but not
Almost
quite.
43s.
But not quite. But he is on another flyer and up by a tenth, so maybe we will see a 43 after all.
Maybe looking at the timing board, I see a lot of green from all of our drivers, so there will probably be some more changes for position at least, if not for P1.
Definitely. Yeah, Ryan is really flying. He's 4 tenths up on his PB currently and is just. No, he has just messed it up.
That is an unfortunate mistake from him.
Yes. A little bit of commentator's curse, I guess.
Absolutely, yes. As soon as we start looking at somebody,
Yes.
it's just that's how it happens.
Yeah, we did see a jump from P12 to P6 from Mr. Gabriel Hauke, who has started another flying lap and is improving on his lap time as well. So we are going to see some shuffles in the positions for Pro and Platinum classes in the final stages of the qualifying. I can see a whole lot of green on my board here. Everyone is improving their lap times.
Yeah, there will be some pretty big improvements as well, I think. I see Gabe is already almost 2 whole tenths up on his best lap time, and Dean Lewis 3 tenths up on his lap time.
Yes, also Cormac Quinn and P11 currently also 2.5 tenths up, 3 tenths up already. So yeah, there will definitely be changes in the positions before this qualifying is over.
I can also see Ryan Harper 10th and a half up on his best time.
Yes, shooting for that 43, for that magical 43.
Absolutely, I'm really hoping that one of our drivers today will make me happy. And also, if you do have a look at the times for P2 and P3, they are currently matching each other as well, so there's going to be...
Oh, there seems to be a theme tonight, right?
Yeah, there definitely seems to be a theme today.
Awesome. Yeah, we are riding on board with Ryan Harper for his flying lap. He is currently in P1 with a 44 flat, and this lap time is an improvement by 3 tenths currently. So I believe we are going to see 43 happen this night, unless we see.
Unless we commit
curse.
another. Yeah, unless we commit another commentator's curse.
Let's hope not. Just a couple of more corners to go.
Yeah, but especially in the McLaren, these corners are so tricky because of the curbs, so you do have to be very careful.
Yes, you're right. McLaren does not like the curbs, but I think he has managed it. And yes, we have a 43.9. So he did lose a couple of tenths at the end there, but still managed to get into the 43s. Let's see what else we have.
He might be our only driver for today, but I am also looking at Darren Menzies, and he is currently about to finish a lap, and it is
44.2.
44.2. Just missed out on P5 as well.
And Gabe is also running 7 tenths up currently. And it looks like another 43 is possible if he manages to nail the final chicane and final corner here. Could actually be even a P1.
It could be. He did do a great job. I don't think it's quite enough for P1, but where does he move? Oh, it's P3.
P3,
but we do have another 43 from
Roman
Frauler.
Yes, in P2. Just 0.03 of a second behind Ryan Harper. Do we have anyone else on track? Yes, Phil Walker is still out on track, doing a flyer. He is improving a little bit. It could bump him up by for a position, maybe 2. Turning the final corner right now.
A little bit of an improvement.
But no position gain, unfortunately. We have Carlos Barros out on track as well, but he is already down by 7/10, so he will not be improving his lap time, unfortunately.
No, this is just about getting to the finish now.
Yes.
Maybe a good time, maybe a good chance to practice the pit and chief. We'll see. No, he does
No,
go through the
he goes
last
for
corner.
the whole lap. Get some final practice in, and there we go. Session is over. On to the race. Are you excited? I am.
I have to say I'm very excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing what our guys can produce into T1. Hopefully it's going to be clean, but I think we're in for an evening of really good and really tight racing from everyone today.
I believe so as well. Let's just wait for the session to flip over.
While we're doing that, let's talk a bit about the track. It is Barcelona in Catalonia, of course. 2.9 miles, 4.6 kilometers, 16 corners with key action areas are going to be T1. That's going to be my favorite one, I think, for today. Turns 4 and 5 and 7 and 10. It does favor a balanced setup with medium downforce. You do have a lot of sweeping corners, but that last tricky sector does favor a bit of a softer suspension, so a little bit of a medium suspension setup will be good. For today, it's going to be a mandatory pit stop, taking fuel and taking tires, and we do have 3 minutes until the the start procedure starts.
Yes, you are correct, and let's just go through all of the drivers again. Let's see how they have stacked up. And in tonight's race, so we in P1 we have Ryan Harper, in P2 Roman Frawler, followed by Gabe Halka, and by Julian Cotton in the BMW. And in P5, Rich Gasson and the Porsche, then a couple of BMWs again, driven by Dave Lewis and Darren Menzies. And then our P1 for the gold category, Thomas Pichon and the Mercedes AMG, followed by Cormac Quinn and Mick Tartan and another pair of BMWs. BMWs are quite popular around DGSR, I think.
They are a very popular car. They are very stable, and they eat curbs for breakfast, so they are quite a nice car to drive.
Yes, you are correct. And followed then is Thomas Norocki and the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2, followed by again a pair of BMWs driven by Mark Dvorak and Alexander, I believe, Goncalves, and Phil Walker and the first Lamborghini, followed by our silver P1s Rob Larby and Dagan Arrow, and another Lamborghini following them is Damian Krajewski. And then we have 3 BMWs driven by Charlie McCabe, Mark Hallidan, and Dave White, and another Audi ridden by Rich Atkinson. And the only Nissan in the race, Carlos Barros, followed by Miguel Stephens and in the Porsche. And then we have Wilkins in the Aston Martin, Ryan Greenaway in the BMW, Dave Long in the McLaren, Jacob Hale and the Lexus, Nick Giles and the McLaren, Bruce Hopkins in the BMW Dawn and the Audi, Denny McElligott and the Bentley, followed by Samuel Rock and another McLaren, followed by Matt Keys, and then we have another, actually 3 McLarens driven by Dave Hyde, Mark Schwartz, Berzek, I forgot the first name, apologies. And in the last 2 spots, we have Dominguez and Collins in the Porsche and the Aston Martin, respectively. And that is our lineup for tonight. And I believe The race is about to go underway, and I lost my mouse. There it is. There we go. Sorry about that. And they are off for the short formation sector. Ooh, who is reset the pits? Someone forgot to press drive. Car number 17. Thomas Pichon from the Gold P1. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
That is a shame.
That is a shame. Cold track, 12 degrees only. This will be an interesting one. Let's go to the helicam. I think it will produce a far better view of the start. They are about to go green. Oh.
And it seems like their session has been restarted by administrator. I wonder what happened. I wonder whether there was actually a technical issue with the server that prevented Tom Pichon from going onto the grid.
Maybe. It may very well be. Is he now on the grid? I don't see him in the driver list anymore. Maybe he's trying to reconnect.
I can see him.
Yes,
I think he may have reconnected. I see his car in last place.
Yes. Yes, he is in B38.
It's one of those unfortunate things that if you do disconnect in between the session start, in between the session end of qualifying and the race start, it does just put you straight onto the back of the race. Session has been restarted again, so we will be waiting a little bit longer. I think it is an attempt to give Thomas Pichon his rightful place back.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, it would be a good thing to do, right? I mean, he did sweat his ass off in the qualifying, and it would be a good thing if he
Absolutely,
could.
And I believe it's very hot where he lives as well. So
Yes. A lot of the guys have been complaining. Actually, not complaining, just stating how hot it is currently, and that they are going to be drenched in sweat. So I'm kind of glad I'm not racing. I'm kind of glad that I have my injured arm, and I'm not forced, in quotes, to be racing in VR tonight.
I have to say, I thought the exact same thing in the morning. I thought, oh, do I really want to be doing much today?
And the answer was no, right?
Nope. That's how I ended up here, not in the driver's seat. So, not the end of the world. To be fair, at least we've got some company for everybody watching today.
Yes, that is correct. And thank you for joining me in the commentators booth. It's a real pleasure to have you. And
absolutely,
that's what I wanted to do before when I was talking about all the cars and who are here. But I have a new keyboard layout and I still haven't gotten used to it. So I'm just going to do a flyover right now for all the cars. I will not repeat all their names again. And here is where Thomas Pichon should be. There's an empty space here, unfortunately. It's a shame. It doesn't appear that he will be able to take the start. It's a quite large grid tonight. I mean,
it is 38 drivers today. There's definitely going to be some carnage going on, especially since there's an endless void below the track, as we've just seen.
Yes, yes, you are correct. And unfortunately, here is Thomas Pichon in last position. But I think it will allow for him to have some fun doing some overtakes and up the field. Maybe he's even going for a last to first challenge, maybe.
I don't think that's going to be possible today with the quality of the drivers that are in the first couple of places, but he will definitely be making some moves during the whole race on the drivers in the lower categories.
Definitely.
Everybody is now starting to switch on their lights and engines, and everybody's excited to get going now.
As are we. So 5 seconds left to start. There are still some cars with headlights turned off, and I believe everyone is lit up right now. And I don't believe anyone was reset to pits. And here they go for the second.
No, it looks like we're going to get.
Yeah. Looks like we're going to get a start. Second formation split. lining up. I believe we are going to go green while the field is still navigating the final corner, which is also a fun thing if you're somewhere in the back.
Yeah, and especially if you've got a car that doesn't like... We've got green light racing going on right now.
There we go, green light. There is some shuffling going about.
Absolutely,
Everything
there's quite a lot of...
still looks clean so far. And we have a change in P1. Roman Froller has snatched lead from Ryan Harper. And I don't believe we had any crashes. It's a clean T1.
No,
Awesome.
absolutely beautiful stuff from everybody. Very clean racing. A lot of people still 2x2. There's a little bit of contact there that I saw between some people.
Oh, and who is this off? It's Mark Schwartz, I believe. Yes, he did brake a little bit too late. Yes, there was some door rubbing, but rubbing is racing, right? And oh, we have a car spun around. And that is Ryan Greenaway. Let's see quickly here what happened to Ryan Greenaway. Oh, just a little off tap from Dave Long. And unfortunately, his car has been turned around, had to let the whole field pass, and is rejoining in final position. Let's see up front, Ryan Harper and Julian Cotton have seemed to have a bit of a scrap.
Yeah, and I'm just seeing Damian Krajewski going back through the field. He's been spun around as well.
You're correct. I'm trying to click his name, but I'm failing. Oh, he's in the grass. He is in the grass. Let's see what happened here.
He is still not moving, so I wonder whether there's whether he's stalled or there's something actually wrong with his car. It looks like he might actually be beached.
Oh, that was on his own. He ran wide into the left-hander, and he even collected Stevens when he rejoined the track. But I think Stevens is still okay. He is still racing.
I believe so. We have Marek Dvořák also off the track. He was in the gravel just off of T1. He's now safely rejoining the track as well.
Well, we did lose a couple of positions by some drivers, but nothing too tragic, I guess. Let's see.
No, there's been no big stuff going on. We do have Stevens and Barrows currently battling quite significantly.
Let's take a look at this. Yes, Barrows is on the rear bumper of the Porsche in front. Barrows is quite a good driver. He had some very bad luck in the past, but overall he is very skilled behind the wheel, and I do believe that he is going to give Stevens a run for his money.
I'm sure he will be. I think I absolutely agree with you. He is a very fast driver. I think he might be handicapping himself a little bit with that Nissan GTR, but you know, it's just one of those things.
I mean,
the love for the car.
Yeah, you drive what you love, right? I mean, it's no point driving something that you don't enjoy.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with that.
I mean, after all, it is just a hobby, right? And we do it for the fun of it.
Yeah, right. Some of us take it a little bit more seriously than others, obviously, but the main reason, especially here, is to have some fun.
But if you wouldn't be having fun, you wouldn't be doing it, right? Even if you are taking it seriously, right?
No, you're right. Yeah, absolutely, you're right.
Yeah.
The main reason we all do this is a little bit of fun. Spend time with people who we call friends and have some tight racing with them.
That is correct. Let's jump into P2 because I think Ryan Harper and Froller are quite close together, and we could see some good action by these two. And we are just going with them onto the back straight. Ryan is in the slipstream, but it is not enough to make a move into the hairpin. But they are quite close. There's only half a second between them, which could spell a good draft run down home straight and maybe an attempted move into T1. But the Beamer does seem to be just planted over those curbs in the chicane.
Yeah, and you can just see the sparks coming from the bottom of that McLaren, just coming over that tiny little curb.
The sausage. Yeah, and the draft is just not strong enough, not enough to make a move. It did creep a little bit closer. It does seem to have a little bit more pace in that McLaren, but I think overtaking between drivers that are in such similar skill level is going to be extremely hard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to take one of them making a mistake to make changes for the lead. Neither of those two cars either are very good on the sort of top speed. So going down that front straight, neither of those cars has a big advantage.
Yes, you're correct. You're correct. They are quite evenly matched in terms of top speed as well. So it will all be about forcing the driver into a mistake. Maybe try to force him into taking a little bit less favorable line into a corner to get a couple of kilometers per hour advantage out of the final corner.
Yeah.
But I believe they are quite a lot closer this time. He is right up under the rear wing of that BMW. I love this camera view. This camera view is just it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. You can just the McLaren behind just looks so aggressive.
Yes, it's amazing. As you can see, just how the Beamer pulls away in that final chicane.
Yeah. It's just you're able to put your foot down onto the throttle a little bit earlier than in the McLaren, coming through that little right-hand kink. It just gives you the time to pull away. I'm looking at the statistics for the race so far, and I have to say, very impressive stuff from Michael Stevens and from Carlos Barros, who have both made up quite a lot of places. They've taken Mike Stevens has made up 6 places, and Carlos has made up 4 places. Actually followed even by Eddie Wilkins, making up 5 places in the race so far. It's some very good stuff. And Thomas Pichon, of course, our fighter from the back, already made up 11 places, currently in 27th. It's going to be really interesting what place he can achieve by the end of the race.
I agree. And while this battle is taking place in battle for P5, we have Rich Gasson and Gabe Hauka going side by side onto the back straight. And I believe there is going to be an attack into the hairpin here. Or no, Rich just had to back out of there. Just didn't have the grunt anymore. And here I believe the Porsche is a little bit at a deficit on the long straight, because it is a little bit slower.
Yeah, it does have a little bit less horsepower, doesn't it?
Yes, it just a tad bit slower on the straights, and that's where I believe the majority of the takeovers can happen in Barcelona. But
yeah,
let's see how it plays out. They are quite close together. There's only 2 tenths between them. And Gabe is forced to take a defensive line into T1.
But the Porsche is very good on the brakes, but so is the McLaren, to be fair.
You're right.
Going off the track slightly there from Rich Gasson.
May have been out of limits even a little bit. As you can see on the straight, Rich just doesn't have a chance to make a move onto the McLaren on the straight.
No, not quite. He did have quite a poor run through the final chicane. I think if he can manage to get a really good run, which the Porsche is fairly capable of, out of the last chicane, he could challenge on the straight, but without that, there's not going to be any of that. Especially with Gabe behind the wheel, he is a great driver.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's nerve wracking when you see Gabe behind you in your mirrors, and you know you have to defend against him. It's just
Well, you see, I don't usually have that problem. Gabe is usually so far ahead of me that I don't really see him in my mirrors unless he's lapping me and I'm being shown the blue flag.
Oh, and Gabe made a mistake coming out of the chicane, out of the hairpin, and Rich said, "Thank you very much." He is now in P5, but I think
great stuff.
Gabe has not spoken the last word yet.
Definitely not. I think this is going to be one of those battles that will rage on through the entire race.
Definitely.
Looking at their best lap times, they're only separated by 3/1000ths of a second as well. So
Yeah, very, very tight racing by all of the lads here.
yeah,
Let's
and
see.
behind Gabe now, you've got a big train of cars behind that were just sort of watching that fight happen. They both had to slow. They both had to slow down because of it.
Yeah, you are correct. And I believe we have a fight for P1 on our hands as well. They are again bumper to bumper. And yeah, after P5, if this was F1, we would have a DRS train down to P10. So we have 6 cars battling for P5 back there. Oh, and Ryan Harper has made a tiny bit of a mistake, has dropped behind Frawler for a full second now, and will have to work his way back up to...
Pushing just that little bit too hard, isn't he?
Yes, you are right. And during the race, I can see that Charlie McCabe has taken P1 in the silvers. Both are Porsche silver drivers, Tegan Arrow and Rob Larby, are now currently behind McCabe. It's also shaping up to be a nice battle in the silver class as well.
Yeah, but both the drivers, especially Degan, is still very close to Charlie. So this is going to be another one of those battles that just rages on the entire time. There's some great stuff going on even at the back of the field. I see gaps of 0.3, 0.2 seconds between most of our drivers today here. It's really quite impressive that we've got really good, clean racing here today.
Definitely. There have been a couple of love taps, but that's to be expected with such a large field. And we have Cormac in the pits. Is this a scheduled stop? Did he have damage? I believe this is a completely scheduled stop, and a lot of people are gaining positions because of it, but that's quite normal. And Thomas Pichon is also in the pits. So we have 2 gold drivers in the pits, and I believe they're going to be fighting when they emerge from the pits again.
Yeah, I wonder if it does make sense in such a big field, and if you fall back a little bit through the field, it does make sense to just go out the back, try not to get slowed down, maybe come out between some of the gold drivers and just get positions on the lower class drivers just through the pit stop.
Yes, definitely. I mean, even if the driver is at the lower class and they are doing race pace by maybe half a second or a second slower than you, it's still rather tricky to pass them. So a second may sound like a lot on paper, but in terms of race pace, and when you have to pass a driver who is a second slower than you, it's still a rather tricky job to do. So it's sometimes better to just dive for the pits and hope to emerge in a better position where you don't have to fight as many slower drivers in front of you, and you maybe gain positions this way.
Absolutely, and Cormac has timed it to perfection. He does have so much clear air in front of him right now. Thomas Pichon is, I think, behind somebody, behind the 114, behind
Dave Lewis.
Dave Lewis.
Yes.
But like we said before, he will not have such a big pace deficit to him. In fact, if anything, he's going to be a little bit slower because Dave is one of our platinum drivers.
Let's see, there was
So
an
it is
attempt
clear.
on P12 between Dagan Errol and Charlie McCabe. It did seem a little bit weavy from McCabe, but I think it's still in the okay area.
A little bit wavy, yeah, but at the end of the day, Dagan didn't quite get alongside at any point so I don't think there was any danger of collision or anything like that.
Yes, I believe you're correct. But they are still half a second between them, still going at it. The field has spread out a little bit now, not by much, but just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we are 15 minutes into the race, so there's going to be a little bit of a spread happening, but now starts to be that phase of the race where pit stops start happening and people start diving into the pits, trying to do overcuts, undercuts, and they're going to get very confused in a few seconds, I think,
Yes.
when people start diving for the pits.
And just look at the track map. We are spread all over the track. So even if you pit now, it's a real gamble where you're going to end up when you emerge from the pits again. You may get released into traffic, and this could cost you your race.
Yeah, you might just get very, very unlucky, and it's just something that will happen. At P32, we've got Matt Keys just trying to get past Chendebashek, and he's being very aggressive in some of these corners.
Let's try and take a look. Oh, and I think Keys is diving for the pits. He is. He is not having that fight anymore and just is going into the pits. And that's what I meant before, right? With that, even if the car in front of you is at a slower pace, you still have a rather hard time passing him, and it's sometimes better just to go to the pits early and hope you emerge in a much cleaner air. And you can make use of your quicker pace to make a pass on that slower car in the pits.
Definitely, you do have to know that you're going to nail that pit stop as well, though. So that always takes a little bit of practice in ACC, because the pit crew seems to be quite, I'd say, a bit lazy in pushing your car back to the correct spot to lift it.
Yeah, if you stop too far off the mark, they pick your car up and throw it back on the ground, and yeah, it can be frustrating. And here we have two Beamers again, bumper to bumper fight for P3 between Julian Cotton and Dave Lewis. I really hope it is Julian. Is it?
Jordan Cotton.
Jordan. Oh, I apologize for renaming you. We have some comments in the YouTube chat. Hello, chat. Are you with us? Are you enjoying the race? It will take a couple of seconds for them to realize that I'm talking to them. Well, not to realize, but that they get the message. And up ahead, side by side by Harper and Frawler into the hairpin. And Frawler was just in a too good of a defensive position, and Harper just couldn't make the move. But they are also pretty much bumper to bumper. It's really hard to focus just on one fight, because there's just so many good fights happening at the same time. I'm having a hard time to decide which battle to follow.
Yeah, there's so much going on. It's just hard to figure out where to look. The field has spread out a little bit, so we have a few less fights. Right now, I'm looking at the fight for P28 between Dean Hyde and Sam Rock.
Yeah, they're changing.
They have gone neck
as
and neck
well.
and changed positions, yeah.
Yes, we have two McLarens going at it here as well. In the McLaren, this view is even. Oh, and a mistake by Hyde has let Rock through. And the hairpin ran a little bit wide, went off track, and Rock just said thank you, squeezed right through, and he is up into P27. This is going. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I have to jump back to the P1 fight because for the whole race, for the whole 20 minutes of the race that's been going on, they have been apart for like half a second at most for those whole 20 minutes, and it's just amazing. And the same goes for P3 and P4. They're also neck and neck all the time, and Ryan is just filling up the mirrors of the Beamer in front, trying to force Frawler into a mistake just to maybe take a bit wider or tighter line into a corner so that he can exploit this on the corner exit. And I do believe, Ryan is going to the pits, trying an undercut. Maybe he gets out in the clean air and can make use of his better pace that way. As if we look at the best lap times, currently the fastest lap on the track is held by Ryan Harper, currently in the pits. It's a 44.05, and Frawler's best lap is a 44.4. So Ryan Harper is currently faster by quite a lot from everyone else in the field. And as Harper is finishing his pit stop, let's take a look at the currently P2 and P3 fight between Cotton and Lewis, who are still separated by only half a second as well. And they have a lapped car in front of them. If I see correctly, this is... Oh, and he let them through. So...
Yeah, very respectful of that blue flag. Good stuff.
Yes, this was 159. This is Mr. Collins, who I'm renamed as Julian, but his name is actually Jordan. And again, apologies for that. And Ryan Harper has emerged in the 24th position currently. I do believe he has quite clean air in front of him. There are a couple of cars in front of him, but they are still some length ahead. And this will be interesting when Frawler pits to see where Ryan will emerge. I mean, where Frawler will emerge after his pit stop.
Definitely, yeah, like you said, Ryan's got 3 seconds of clear air to don't speak English. If he can dispatch with him quite quickly again, he's got another 6 seconds of clean air. Could be good stuff for him. Could have been a really good choice to make that pass, make that dive for the pits.
I agree. And Frawler does not go for the pits. He carries on the track. And once again, Hyde and Rock are at it again. They are changing positions, battling it out, and there they are, side by side, coming into the hairpin. Hyde on the inside, but has to bail out. Did not get the move done soon enough. But Rock does run a little bit wide, and Hyde squeezes through. Another change of position.
Very good stuff.
Definitely. And they do have a car behind them, but I believe it's a lapped car. Yes, this is Mark Schwartz, who is a lap down. So they are pretty much free to race on.
We've got Eddie Wilkins from the silver category just pulling into the pits as well, so there might be stuff happening in the silver category in terms of undercuts, overcuts, and stuff like that as well now.
You're correct. Yes, in the silvers, I can see Charlie pulled a little bit of a lead over Dagan Errol. I mean, a little bit. It's 2.5 seconds. It's still not a lot. If you make a mistake, those 2.5 seconds disappear in an instant. So you still have to be pretty much on your toes.
Yeah, you cannot. You can't afford with those differences, with the differences that we have between most of our drivers, it's usually within 3 seconds of each other. So it's some very close stuff, and you do have to just be very careful about not making mistakes.
Yeah, you're right. And up ahead, Jordan. Not Jordan. That is Julian. No, that's Jordan. Sorry.
It is Jordan Cotton.
Yeah, it's just so confusing. Has made a dive for the pits. He has bailed out from the fight with Lewis.
And Gabe Hawkeye has done the exact same thing. He's
Yes.
come into the pits as well.
Yes, he will try to make another cut on Rich Gasson, who is currently in P3.
Yeah. I have to say, Gabe was very unfortunate. He's sharing the same pit box with Joao Dominguez, who was also in the pits, so he had to pit inside of him, which is just so difficult to see where you need to stop.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how it is in ACC. Let's see here. Stevens and Barros, they are still also just a tad under a second together on the track. The whole time they do have Thomas Thomas behind them, but he is a lap down, I believe. Where is Thomas currently? Thomas is currently in P33. It's a real shame. It's a real shame for him after qualifying P1 in the gold class.
Yeah, it's worth saying that he has already completed his pit stop. So
Yes.
while he is a lap down, all of these drivers in front of him also still have to make that pit stop. It
That is
doesn't
correct.
change the fact that he's getting slowed down by them a little bit. Nah. We'll see what he can do.
It's a real tricky thing to be in this kind of situation. You know you're a little bit quicker than the guys in front, but you also know that if you're going to pass them, you're going to be under blue flags, right? So you have to pull clear of them quite quickly to not violate blue flags. And
Yeah.
Even just making the pass can be a tricky situation because you are a lap down and the guys in front are in fight for a position. So
Yeah, they will not be letting you through despite you being faster, and you do have to respect the blue flags and make sure that you're out of their way and not impeding them in any way.
you're correct. You're correct. And these two are still just going for it. Every lap, one of them runs wide, the other one tries to slip through. It's a real joy to watch them fight. That's
Yeah, it's
Hyde and
some great stuff.
Hyde and Rock. And in the meantime, what do we have up in front? Harper is making some passes. Oh, actually, he just drove by the pits, so not making passes, but.
If you do have a look at the fight for P2, though, Rich Gasson has caught up to David Lewis. He's currently made a little bit of a mistake, so he's a second down, but he was sort of 3/10, 2/10 down, trying to make a move for P2.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. He came out of nowhere then.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just a little bit unsure where he came from. He's making some very good lap times, to be fair, compared to Dave, who's slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, almost a second per lap quicker. But Rich has entered the pits. He has.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cars in the pits right now, so there's going to be a lot of changes for position on the boards.
You're right, but the leaders of all the classes are still out, I believe. Yes, Rock and Hyde have been separated by a pit stop as well. Hyde has dove into the pits. Rock is continuing. Actually, who is in P1 for gold right now? Is this Goncalves? I believe so, right? Darren Menzies has been pushed to Platina.
I think he may have, yeah. I think it probably will be Goncalves, but he has just dove into the pits, so I wonder whether Marek Dvořák is... I have to say, the distinction between Platinum and Gold drivers for me is very difficult to follow.
Yes, I agree. It's quite a problem. And from Silver P2, Dagon Errol has also dove into the pits. So we will have an interesting outcome here. Dvorak, I think, is gold, right?
We've just had a bit of contact with Sam Rock. Something's happened, or he's spun in 20th.
Oh, let's take a quick 15-second replay. Ooh, not enough.
It looks like he's been turned around by somebody, though.
Yes, unfortunately, I cannot cancel the replay. I'm going to
In a
come back
way,
again. Sorry about that.
in a way, it's quite fortunate that it happened right there because he was able to go straight into the pits.
Yeah, you're right. Who is this
Get
behind
his-
him? That's Cormac. Cormac is right behind him here and is jumping all over the curbs.
This is going to be one of those things where he breaks a little earlier than he expects, isn't it?
He just ran wide. Oh no. Oh, yeah, he wanted to go across into the pits and he cut off Cormac's line there.
Yep, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, seems to be on him.
Yep.
Fortunately.
We've just had a change for position at 10th between Gabe Hawker and Rich Gasson.
Unfortunately, I can't cancel the replay, or I don't know how to. I'm really sorry about that. Yes, you are correct. Gabe is in front of Gasson and right behind Cotton currently. So Rock has pitted and has emerged way down in the order. Currently in P1 for bronze is Don't Speak English and P2 is Hyde. Is it Darren, I think?
Dean Hyde.
Dean, yeah. Thank you for correcting me. And as for the golds, I do believe Goncalves is in P1 for golds. It's just so hard to no, Dvorak? Is Dvorak gold?
It's difficult to distinguish because ACC obviously doesn't let us make the distinction between platinum and gold drivers. It's only pro, am, and am. So
yes, you're correct.
It's quite difficult.
And we have Rich Gasson serving a stop and go 30-second penalty, and Paul Walker has been slapped with the same fine for speeding in the pits. So Gasson has been taken out of the fight, unfortunately.
That's very unfortunate. He did just come into the pits after we were mentioning that change in position between him and Gabe Holka.
Yes.
Probably thought he needs fresher tires, but
it's a shame.
Charlie McCabe in the pits, I think, has overtaken Dave Lewis, who must have had a slower stop.
I think McCabe has not made yet, hasn't been stopped yet, so that's why the position changed. But I'm interested to see.
Yeah, absolutely my mistake. He's just gone into the pits, so that's why the positions have changed.
Will Ryan make a pass on Frawler, though? I'm afraid not. And Frawler has retained his lead. He has retained his lead.
He has. And it's that same difference of 1 second, which was probably in a little bit going to disappear. Make it into that half a second, and it's just going to be a fight until the rest of the of the day.
Yes, and Gabe has just made a pass on Cotton into T1, a successful pass. And for silvers is Dagan Arrow making a pass on McCabe. I'm also afraid not. McCabe is quite a lot in front, already navigating T2. So no change in position for silvers. And as for golds, yes, I do believe this is Alexander Goncalves in P1 for golds. And things are starting to settle back down, I believe. Paul Walker is just serving his stop and go penalty.
I think that is the case.
The rest of the field.
Most of the drivers will be doing their pit stops sort of over here in the middle of the race because that's the most beneficial way to do it on your tires. You can obviously pit early or pit late if you're confident in your tire management, but this stop around the sort of middle 20 minutes seems to be the most popular.
Yeah, that's around the time when most of the drivers make the stop. And yeah, the undercut didn't really work for Ryan Harper. He is still half a second behind Frawler, and now he has to deal with worse tires than him, since Ryan did pit I think like 5 or 6 laps before Frawler did.
Something around that, something like that. So he does have tires that are a little bit older.
So unless he has managed them quite good, he will have a deficit, at least a little bit. No, it's not a lot, but
No, it's not going to be much. But we did see Ryan actually go and get a fast lap. It was a 44.0, and I believe it was actually towards the end of his first stint, even on the sort of slightly used tires. So it's not like the McLaren can't handle the used tires.
yeah, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. And this is currently the only close fight happening on the track, so we can comfortably stay with them for a while as they are coming up to a slower car, which is
I think that is Samrock,
or is Samrock.
or it could be Dean
No,
Hyde.
it's Dean Hyde, number 8.
You're right, my mistake. I was very confused from their previous fight.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to know which is which.
There's a car stopped, number 78, Rich Gasson.
Is he?
I think he's actually some sort of an issue because he's no longer in the server.
You're correct. We have lost 2 drivers actually. We had 38, we have only 36 now. So we have lost 2 drivers. Maybe Rich just didn't feel like continuing after that stop and go. I don't know.
Maybe that might be the case. Phil Walker's still continuing after his stop and go 30, so...
Yes, you are correct. He is currently in P27. And I do believe that Thomas Pichon is preparing to make a move on Bruce Hopkins and try to make up another place.
It's some good stuff from him so far, moving up to 24th. And it seems like Bruce Hopkins has let him through a little bit, or maybe made a bit of a mistake.
Maybe just too busy watching the mirrors and missing the braking point a little bit. It's so easy to do into that hairpin.
Absolutely, and especially in the dark as well.
Yeah.
You lose so much vision on your braking points and braking markers.
Definitely, especially if you have some headlights shining in the back of your head.
That's for sure. It is quite distracting as well, and knowing that it is a pro driver behind you as well, you definitely don't want to be crashing them out of the race.
Definitely. And McCabe putting pressure on Cormac Quinn. He is currently quite a bit faster than Cormac and is right up on his rear bumper, coming out of the hairpin.
Yeah, we'll see if he can do and make anything happen out of the last chicane.
Cormac is also a very tricky driver to overtake. He does defend his position quite well, and it's never an easy job to try and get past him. And
yeah, he knows just how to enter the corner to give you to not make the gap short at the exit. Like you see, what's just happened with Charlie, just nowhere near him at the exit of that corner.
Yeah, just no chance then to mount any kind of attack coming down into T1, as the gap between them has increased a little bit again. Further down the order, Barros has lost his partner Stevens. Where is Stevens currently? And
it's just 2 cars behind.
2 cars behind him. So Carlos has made a successful undercut and has passed Stevens for the position, but is currently having a Porsche all up in his mirrors as Rob Larby is trying to make a move. And had to back out. Porsche is very, very dangerous through this section here. It can navigate this part of the track very well.
Charlie McCabe has just gotten past Cormac, actually.
Did we miss that?
We just did. I think 30-second replay might be nice. I think we've just seen it again. Must have been a little bit of a mistake at coming out of that corner and just.
Yeah, and Charlie just snatched that place right up. Great directing from my part, I might add. Missing all the important things all the time. And not to miss this one. Let's see. Rob Larby is quite close to Carlos Barros coming into the final chicane here. He might have a run on him down into T1. Or maybe not. I think Carlos is just pulling away a little bit.
We'll see. He's quite close in that Porsche, but like you said before, the Porsche is just that. It's just that little bit too slow in the straight line.
Yeah, you're just missing that final 5 kilometers per hour to make an actual move on the straights. But I guess if it was also as quick on the straights, it would just be very overpowered, because it is an amazing car in the corners. There is just nothing that turns like it.
And fantastic on the brakes. That said, the Nissan is actually surprisingly good on the brakes as well.
Yeah, you're correct. But they're
still very close there through all the twisty stuff Rob there is. I think he's just going side by side. Oh, no, almost.
Almost.
Oh, this is another fantastic camera angle.
You basically see what the driver sees, and he did make a tiny bit of a mistake here coming over the chicane. Lost a little bit of ground. And this is a fight for E13 overall. Carlos is in the Platinum class and Rob is in the Silver class. At least I think Carlos is in Platinum, right?
I think he might be a gold driver, but regardless, it's a fight between one of the white number boys and silver number. So
yeah. No, he is Platinum. He is Platinum.
He is
checked. Yes, he is definitely in Platinum. Yeah, no, just take a look at this. See, the Nissan is just pulling away on the straight here. So unless he is in the slipstream, there is no chance that the Porsche will keep up with the Nissan. And
no, absolutely, you're right.
Larby was a little bit behind here and just couldn't keep up. The Nissan just pulled away. And I think we have another fight shaping up here between Goncalves and Cormac. I believe Cormac is in Platina, yes, and Goncalves is our current P1 in the gold class. But they are separated by virtually nothing.
It seems to me like Cormac might be having a little bit of some issues. I don't know if he had. I can't quite remember if he had any contact earlier with someone, but he's not running very fast lap times for some reason. No,
you're right. You're right. He is almost half a second slower than Goncalves currently.
Oh, yeah, has
the Porsche got out of the way? Number 5, I believe.
I think he has. He's a driver lap down.
Yes, he has. He has gotten out of the way.
Actually, I say driver lap down. He's Dagan Earl currently in P2 in the silver category. He's definitely not a lap down. Just didn't fancy getting in the way of that fight, probably.
Nowotny and Cotton going at it in T1. Nowotny got a place.
Great stuff from him. Absolutely great stuff. Up at the head of the pack again. The gap just stays the same. It's just consistently just 1 second between those two guys at the front.
Yeah. And look at this again. They were side by side, and the Nissan just pulled away. It's just amazing. Yeah,
and this is one of those things that makes Assetto Corsa Competizione one of I think more fun sims to drive, just because there's a little bit of a difference between the cars, but they're so well balanced that the lap times, if you pick a modern, one of those newer cars, you can challenge for a win in either of those cars.
Definitely.
You will have to extract the pace differently, but
yeah, each of them has a little bit different strength. One of them is maybe a bit stronger in the corners. One of them is a little bit stronger in the acceleration, or in the brakes, or in top speed. But overall, they are very well balanced. Let's ignore the alienist of the aliens who can extract the final thousandths of a second from each car. I'm sure they know which car is the better one, but for us plebs, I think they are pretty well balanced, and they produce very interesting racing.
yeah, 100%. And you can even see it in the sort of high level racing leagues like AOR. There's just a big spread of cars, people driving McLarens, Bentleys, everything, and still being competitive at all levels.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think we have another attack here, and this is this time Walker on Greenaway for P25. Walker making up lost ground after the stop and go. Both of them almost lapped by our leaders, whose gap is still just 0.6, 0.7 of a second apart. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, what a fight that has been. It's been almost 50 minutes of them constantly just fighting for 1 second of lap between them, basically. It's been great.
Yeah, and they are still going at it, still trying to force each other into a mistake. And it doesn't seem like it's happening this time, although I do hope I haven't just cursed them. See further down the order, do we have any close battles going on currently? I believe the field has spread out a little bit again, except for P10. We have Cormac Quinn in P10 currently, and followed by Alex Goncalves in P11, and followed by Tegan Errol in P12, with a little bit of over a second between all three of them. But it is shaping up to be a three-way fight for P10.
Yeah, anything could happen in these last 7.5 minutes of racing.
Yeah, you're already tired at this point, sweating and drenched in sweat, and just want it to be over. And a slight drop in concentration, and that might be it. Again, just shy under a move into T1. Just that little bit of an extra grunt needed from the final corner to make a move into T1.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where I find it very difficult to overtake around Barcelona, because out of that last chicane, you do have that long sweeping right-hander, so you do lose a bit of aero, and you do have a bit of understeer as a result of that. So you sometimes just have to lift off the throttle and just don't get the run on the straight. And through the rest of the lap, there's barely anything you can do.
Yeah, maybe into the hairpin. That may be your chance where you can make a move, or into T5. That's also maybe, but only if you can force the guy in front of you to make a mistake in the corner before those corners. Then you maybe have a chance to mount an attack. And I believe Rob Lorby is about ready to make a move on Carlos Barros. They work quite tight together in terms of times, but and they are still bumper to bumper.
Yeah, absolutely. They're still fighting for it. I can't quite remember what it was last time, but Mike Stevens has sort of caught up to that battle. I didn't see him there before.
Yes, he has.
And he's ready. He's ready to be the third person in that battle and just take advantage.
Definitely. And Rob Larby has
Whoa.
taken a weird line through the final
I saw
corner.
him. I saw him using his indicator as well. I wonder whether he just wanted to.
I think he let him through because Rob is in silver class and Stevens and Barros are in. Oh, what's happened to Dagan Arrow? Oh no. Has he parked it?
It's out of T1.
Yes, I believe he has parked it.
Yeah, it looks very unfortunately
Oh,
like he
and
has parked it.
slap into the barriers. It's a shame that was from P2 in the silver category.
Yeah, that's absolutely a shame. I wonder whether that was the same reason that he couldn't speak to us earlier. Maybe his kid has woken up.
Maybe that maybe
Unfor-
it's a shame.
Unfortunately, we don't have the luxuries of real racing drivers where
Yeah.
they can focus on the race.
Yeah, we still do have our real life things to take care of during the races. Yeah,
Yep.
and I
The
believe
fight
this
for
is the
P1.
case. Yes, it's again very tight. 0.3 of a second between them.
Yeah, it's still going on.
4 minutes left into the race. Frawler probably praying for the checkered flag already. But he's
Absolutely.
doing an awesome job withstanding the pressure from Harper, who's doing an awesome job providing that pressure. And they do have a lapped car in front of them, which is Phil Walker. I do believe Phil will get out of the way for both of them when the time comes. You can just hear the Lambo V10 screaming in front of them.
Yeah. It sounds absolutely fantastic, doesn't it?
It does.
Got for some reason Dennis McElligott in the pits. I don't think he's serving a penalty or anything, so
No,
I wonder what's happening there.
Also maybe a kids related issue.
Absolutely could be, yeah.
Could very well happen in our line of work.
Yeah, he's coming back out of the pits, so I don't know. I don't. Yeah, maybe it would be very weird to go and repair damage at 3 minutes left in the race. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Ryan is forcing Frawler into a tighter line into T1. Will this be enough to make a charge into T2 and take P1? No, it
not quite.
Not quite. Frawler just about manages to hold on to his P1. Let's see again from another angle. Oh, they almost collected McElligott here, and yeah, the outside line just didn't work for Harper. There was even a little bit of fender rubbing between them here.
A little bit, yeah. Not much effect on the actual racing.
Yeah.
It's great to see this kind of stuff for P1 especially.
Yeah, that's the sort of things have to happen, right? Otherwise it's not a race. Further down the line, Stevens is right up on Carlos, 0.4 of a second between them. Behind them, Larby and Halladin are going for it for P2 in silver class, also tied together, but I want to stay with these guys because I do believe we will see another attack by Harper on Frawler coming down the home straight.
Absolutely, and I think they're going to be heading into their last lap, so Harper is really going to be trying to do as much as he can right here.
But he is a little bit behind this time, not able to make a move into T1 this time. And I'm sorry, I have to switch here because Stevens and Carlos are literally joined together at the bumpers. And Carlos is being forced into a tighter line, and behind him Larby has made a mistake which allowed Halladin to move into P2 for silvers. We just caught that with the corner of our eyes. And in the front, yeah, nothing has changed so far. So we
Nothing's
can't.
changing in the front. This is a very interesting race.
There's just too much going on. I don't know which fight to watch.
Yeah, we've got a fight between Cormac and Goncalves as well going on.
Yeah, this is insane. Insane. I feel like we should have a split screen, you know, to show all the fights at once.
If only we could, if only we could.
Yeah. And yeah, Stevens again not able to mount an attack. Oh, that was...
massive dive.
That was a bit late on the brakes, and I think that is done for him. And
I think that's going to be it, but it might just let the silver driver behind them through.
And it did. Halloran
did.
is in front of Stevens, but let's focus on this. I don't think Harper has a chance to make a move into the final corner here. And I do
Probably
believe
not.
Frawler has the victory in Barcelona.
Oh,
Awesome racing. Congratulations to Frawler. Let's see further down the line. Charlie McCabe is driving a lonely P1 race in the silvers.
yeah, just making it into that last sector now.
Yes, and I will switch to Quinn and Goncalves, who are 0.3 of a second apart. And Goncalves is in P1 for the gold class. Even if he does make the pass on Cormac Quinn, it won't make any change on either of those guys' points at the end of the race.
It is always a little bit of a point of pride, though. You always
Yeah.
want to get ahead of people, especially on the last lap.
Definitely, but it's not going to happen again. Still a very interesting race between these two as well. And Halloran crossing the line in P2 for silvers with Stevens right up on his exhaust.
Meanwhile, the first two of the bronze category, Don't Speak English and Dean Hyde, have already finished their races as well behind the leaders while we were busy watching that. Congratulations to those two, and now Chenda Brezek has come home in P3.
You are absolutely correct. And just some final stragglers coming in over the line to finish the race. What do you say we invite Mr. Frawler to the commentator's box?
Let's do it.
Can you just first confirm that Goncalves is really the gold class winner? Harper is platinum, Lewis is platinum, Hauke Nawrotsky is also platinum, Cotton is platinum, right?
I'll be honest, I have no idea.
Is it maybe no, Cotton is gold. Sorry, Cotton is gold. So Cotton is our gold winner. All right, so we have Frawler, Cotton, McCabe, and Dawn to invite to the commentator's box, and I will be doing it right now. So let's see, McCabe.
I'll grab Mr. Frawler.
All right. Dawn.
Hello.
Hello there, welcome to the commentary box.
And Cotton.
Hello, hello.
Hello, guys. I
Hello.
hope I didn't make any mistake, and I do have the winners of each class in the commentator's box. So this is Roman Frawler for the Platina, and then we have Jordan Cotton for the gold class, Charlie McCabe for the silver class, and Dawn Speak English for the bronze class. First of all, congratulations to everyone. It was an interesting race. We had quite a bit of fun watching it, commentating on it. And let's hear it from our winners. If we could go from the bronze class first. Don, how have you seen your race? Was it interesting? Was it nerve-wracking?
It was exhausting. It's so warm. It's not warm on track. Warm here. So it's hard to keep going. I ran wide a few times, other than that, kept it clean, kept it tidy. So I was very happy with my pace.
Yeah, I guess the warmth and the hotness, that's just another simulated factor for the real world racing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, congratulations on the win on
Thank you.
on the bronze class. And in silver, Mr. McCabe, how are you doing? How was your race? You were quite lonely in P1 in silver towards the end of the race, but in the middle of the race, I think you had quite a few interesting bits.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was a lonely race towards the end, but I'm just sat sweating at the minute, absolutely dripping. So I'm glad it's over. It's just way too hot. But yeah, good fun.
I think everybody's happy to that the race is over today.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't as cold in real life as it was in the virtual Barcelona, right?
Yeah.
No, I wish it were.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Mr. Jordan Cotton, I have to first apologize. I have renamed you during the stream to Julian, but Christian has corrected me. Congratulations on your gold class win. You also had quite a fight on your hand throughout the race, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. It was going well until I put it into the wall, and then had to do the last 30 odd minutes with 17 seconds of damage. And then the first half of the race, I was doing it with 3 warnings, so I had 3 warnings after I think 5 minutes of the race starting. So I've had to be on my best behavior the entire race.
Well, got to say that's quite impressive, managing to keep it out of the drive-through zone. Very good job there.
Yeah, every corner I was like, oh no, please not a drive-through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you managed to keep it there.
it's quite challenging because then you never know, and you always lift a little bit just to avoid that final warning and getting that drive through, right?
Yeah, I did. I've had a race in this ruined by a drive-through already, and I didn't want to do it again. So
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. Anyway, congratulations to
Thank
you
you very
as
much.
well. And last but not least, Mr. Roman Frawler, our winner in the Platinum class. Tell me, Roman, do you still have any energy left after keeping Harper at bay for the whole race?
No, not really. It was exhausting, and Mr. Harper was a little bit faster today, but he could not overtake. I think maybe a little bit more wing, because on the straights I managed to pull away a little bit. But yeah, I was lucky 2 times at the start where he was very cautious, and I think he tried to undercut and stuck in traffic. So 2 times luck today, and yeah, so I'm happy.
Yeah, it was quite interesting to watch you guys every time you came out of the final corner. But I guess the BMW can just put the power down a little bit earlier in coming out of the final chicane and into the final corner. And the McLaren just didn't have an answer coming down the straight. Maybe it was the setup. Maybe it's just the speed deficit that is in between the McLaren and the Beamer. But I think Harper did make a couple of attempts into T1, but you held him off quite well.
Yes, he had a few attempts, but somehow I managed to defend. Yeah, I'm a little bit sorry for him because he was fast today, but yeah, somehow could not overtake.
Yeah, but that's racing, right? If you're in front, you can dictate the pace, and if you can keep the guys behind, then doesn't matter if they're faster. You're still in front.
Yeah, that's right. Harper and me were faster than the rest of the pack. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, I'm happy that I could defend the whole race, but he was, I think, the whole race within 0.5 seconds. So it was really difficult and really exhausting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe you. To have
I think the
someone.
biggest gap that we've seen between you outside of that pit stop, that undercut, was 1 second. So, I mean, we were very excited watching that, right? Watching your battle through the entire race, through the whole 55 minutes. It was great stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. It was a great race, and yeah, I'm happy.
All right, awesome. Thank you as well. We'll be moving you back to server A, and I will see you next week, if not sooner. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks very
you.
much for the
Thank you.
commentary, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, guys.
Cheers,
Have a good
bye.
rest of the day.
Well done, everyone.
Oh, okay. They move themselves. All right. So yeah, that was it. And Christian, did you enjoy the race?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. There was so much to watch the entire race. That battle for P1, I was just very, very excited to see where Harper and Fowler would come out at the end of their sort of undercuts, overcuts, whatever they were doing. And it was just great to watch. And there were just so many good battles all the way. And let's face it, it was a very clean race. It was a very clean race.
Definitely very few incidents. And yeah, unfortunately, in the beginning, we did see a couple of spins, but at such a big field, it's almost impossible not to. Yeah, think it's time to close this one down, right? Thank you for joining me, Christian. Awesome to having you. Awesome to share some of your commentating with me. I hope we can do it again next time.
Absolutely, I had a great time. We'll see how we'll see what happens for the next race. If there is a one server again, it would be great to share the commentary. If not, maybe we can make commentary for both servers happen. We'll just have to wait and see.
We will see. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye bye.